16, which is the Highways Capital Programme 2026 to 2030 and the Transport Asset Management Plan. And it starts on page 746. This is the Councillor Graham Plant show, because I'm going to ask him to introduce the report, please.
Thank you, Chairman. I am pleased to present the Highways Capital Programme for 26 to 2030 and the updated Transport Asset Management Plan. Our highways and transport network is essential to everyday life in Norfolk. It supports our economy, connects our communities, and enables residents, businesses, and visitors to move safely and reliably around the county. Maintaining this network properly remains one of the most important responsibilities we have. This year's programme comes with the benefit of a multi-year funding settlement from government, giving us greater certainty and, importantly, a significant uplift in the later years. As this report outlines, we will be receiving between £58 million and £83 million a year. Having this certainty means we can invest even more in the proactive, preventative maintenance that we pride ourselves on and which is proven to stop potholes forming rather than constantly repairing them. Alongside this, we continue to invest in the priorities of our local transport plan, improving active travel, supporting public transport, and enabling sustainable growth. We've already seen strong results, such as increased bus passenger numbers thanks to our bus service improvement plan, and more people than ever walking and cycling in areas where we have delivered active travel schemes. Major projects such as the West Winch Housing Access Road that we have just discussed remain key components of the programme, and now is the perfect time to also highlight two key announcements that have come out since the Cabinet report was published. First, the news that the Government has formally approved the Council's capitalisation direction in respect of the Norwich Western Link, a decision which removes a key area of financial uncertainty for the Council and provides clarity about the impact of costs already incurred. And second, the secured funding of £18.73 million from Government towards our Kings Lynn STARS Sustainable Transport and Regeneration Scheme project, which aims to make it easier to walk and cycle around the town and improve Baxter's Plain public space in the town centre. This significant national investment, combined with a £2.8 million local contribution, will bring nearly £21 million of improvements to Kings Lynn. Overall, as I'm sure you will agree, this four-year plan strengthens the resilience of our network, supports economic growth, and ensures we are investing wisely for the future. And the recommendations are on page 748, Chairman.
Thank you. Comments or questions? Councillor Bensley.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just wanted to ask Councillor Plant, really, the infrastructure and the extra funding that that you've achieved in coming into Norfolk. Obviously, it's great work by yourself and the officers, but when it comes to infrastructure and new road developments and, what should I say, outside bodies or other agencies that have access in digging up roads, etc., and yet Norfolk County Council gets the blame for it, how do we alleviate and how do we implement this without getting the negative, if you know what I mean? Because lots of these structures and lots of these are improvements, and they are, as I said, Conservative-led. We are getting this funding in for it. Yourself has worked hard to get all this, and these are all going to be extra implements and all going to be good for Norfolk. So how do we introduce these positives into our road structure without, as I said, people getting angry or upset about them? Because I know some people do get very frustrated, and that's fair, but 9 times out of 10 it's not us, and these other agencies do the works on our assets. I wondered how we can dissolve that issue sometimes and get the right message out there.
Yeah, interesting question, isn't it? Because we have an awful amount of build going on in Norfolk at the moment. We've got the A47, which is National Highways, it's not us. But all those villages around it are us. So therefore, the damage that's being caused by the extra traffic that's going on there, the extra heavy vehicles that would normally go on the A47 is an issue that we're dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And we do get regular emails from residents complaining about the state of the roads in their particular village or area, basically because of the increase in traffic while these major works go on. But these major works we've campaigned for years. We started 20 years ago on trying to get the A47 dualled. This is part of it, and unfortunately we have to put up with some pain whilst that is done. I think once the work is done, you'll see an immense improvement, not only in the villages around there, but it gives us a chance to get in there and repair the roads more permanently than they are at the moment. At the moment, it is a patch job because at the end of the day, it's not built for the kind of traffic that's on it, but we have to do that. They have to have somewhere to go, and people have to take deliveries, they have to live their lives. So it is important that we continue to repair whilst these big schemes are going on. You've got to remember that to get these big schemes, we've been campaigning for years and years and years. The Third River Crossing at Great Yarmouth, the Herring Bridge, started for me 20 years ago, when I sat down in a room in Great Yarmouth and we were talking to the people on Queen's Road about them losing their homes for the line of the Third River Crossing. So it's not something that starts immediately. We get something going, and it's many, many years in the development. 10 years ago, we probably had 10 utility companies that would dig up the roads. We now have 70. 79, my apologies. I've just been given the final number by the director. 79 utility companies now have the right, under emergency powers, to dig up the road should one of their utilities fail. But you'd want that. If it's a gas main, you don't want an explosion. If it's water, you don't want floods. If it's sewage, you don't want sewage in the streets. These are important elements to take into account. What we've got at the moment, the others, are usually communications, whether they be, city fibre or something like that. So from that point of view, it's about putting in new infrastructure that everybody wants. Everybody wants broadband. Everybody wants to have Wi-Fi and the modern facilities. But their kit needs repairing. Their kit needs updating as well. And so we're working in a world where we plan our work out over the year of what we're going to do to improve the network and what the major bodies are going to produce. But we work in a system where a utility company can close a road and then tell us 24 hours later that that's what they've done. And that may well be already on a diversion route. So it does cause problems, but we are working with the utility companies. I know the directors have meetings with them on a monthly basis to try and sort out how they keep the roads open, how they keep them moving, and how we have all the infrastructure that's needed to make sure that the county can run smoothly. So yes, it is complicated. Yes, it is frustrating. I get no end of frustrated residents emailing me with their frustration, but we try to work with them to try and make sure that we have a county that's up to date, gets the infrastructure it deserves, because you've got to remember, for 50 years we've got nothing. So I'm not going to decry the fact that we're actually getting money spent in Norfolk to improve what people in Norfolk get. So I think it's a good question, and thanks for the opportunity of being able to explain a little bit about how we try and maintain the roads.
Thank you. Councillor James.
Thank you. I feel like I need to be a bit more positive following on from that. And I'm really, really excited. I'm going to go a little bit parochial because whilst we sit here as a cabinet and we see the big strategic picture, all of us are elected to represent our little areas of Norfolk. And I'm really excited looking at these papers today. We've got the design and delivery of a crossing in Thetford that's been long fought for. And actually, I have to say, thank you very much to my predecessor in Thetford West, who helped fight for that as well. But we're seeing that delivered in the coming financial year. The expansion of services in Thetford under the BSIP funding has been incredible, and really pleased to be able to support some additional bus stops, covered bus stops, so we don't have to stand there with our umbrellas up, because let's face it, it has been a bit wet lately, and that will be really appreciated by our residents. And I'm really excited to see the provisional commitment to our support for Greater Angula's bid for access for all, particularly at Thetford Station, because I know that is a bugbear for so many residents utilising that site. You can get on and off in your wheelchair on one side. It's a bit trickier on the other side of the station, and actually we need people to be able to choose how they move around our county, regardless of their abilities or disabilities, and supporting that will be really considerable. And then also the Thetford Town Centre to High Lodge route that's also put in there. I know that's been a really important conversation point of the, and I can never remember what it's now called. It's no longer town plan, it's no longer neighbourhood board. Is it places? I can't remember what it's called anymore, but the 20 million that's coming into Thetford, that neighbourhood board is also supporting that route. So it's about partnership working, and I know that will make a real difference for people getting in and around the town and out and about. So I'm really excited to see those projects on that listing. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wymark.
Thank you, Leader. No, me too. I must say I'm being parochial too. But I'd like to talk about the B1150, where we've got significant improvements there. Obviously in Coltshaw, there's a new crossing going on in there. And also at the Spixworth Junction, I think many people would know if they've tried to get out of Spixworth in the morning, it's very, very difficult indeed. So I know we've been looking at it myself. I've met with engineers there in the past. And also I know Jerome Mayhew, MP, he's been involved too. I mean, it's right on the edge of my division, but nonetheless, it makes a significant impact on the local area. So seeing improvement there and £1 million being put towards that is fantastic. So I just want to say how pleased I am. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Plant.
Yeah, just to say, I think it's really important that members do read this report, because there's an awful lot in it about what's going to be happening over the next few years as far as local transport is concerned, as far as the highways are concerned, as far as active travel is concerned. Active travel is probably one of the most, along with potholes and street works, is one of the keeps my inbox busy with people not seeing any need for cycleways or walkways or anything else like that. But that is the way this country is going. Every single traffic scheme that we do in the county now has to have an element of wheeling, walking and cycling attached to it. Or the money does not come forward from Active England, or we don't get the improvements that they bring as well. So I think it's important that the public recognise that the active element of us doing works on the highway is statutory now. It's not something we've got a choice about. It's statutory if we want to get these works done, and therefore I think it's really important that if people have got opinions about where these cycleways and walkways should go and how they can be improved, get involved and let us know. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? No, I totally get your point there, Councillor Plant. We do receive some quite unfair criticism from certain quarters when we're trying to put in new cycleways and improvements on the road. Not everybody agrees with it. I appreciate that, but this is the directive that we're given, and there's a lot of red tape in local government, and we have to manoeuvre within it, and we try and get as much money, leverage as much as we can into our county to improve things for our residents. And when I talk to people outside of Norfolk about just how big Norfolk is, we're over 2,000 square miles as a county, and we have over 6,000 miles of road. And others are always a bit shocked and horrified when they realise just how big Norfolk is, and just what a good job our department does here. And I'd like to thank the director for that. Independent surveys put us second in the country for repairing potholes. When you tell people, they don't believe you, but I say, well, you just go across the county line and have a look at somebody else's potholes, and you'll realise just how good Norfolk are at actually maintaining our roads. And our bus service, I think it's improved by about 26%, hasn't it? Manchester were sort of lauding it, saying they've improved theirs 5%. I said, well, come and have a look and see what we do. And we haven't had to completely rejig the whole system as some MPs would like us to do. We actually work in partnership with those bus companies to get a proper network of bus services and help people access public transport. National highways, yes, we get a lot of complaints about what's going on the A11 at the moment. We need the whole of the A47 duals. We need people to be able to get about in our county. As I said, it's a very big place. And so, of course, we're going to have to see some disruption while that happens. We have to fund a lot of the programmes that we do ourselves up front and at risk. So the Norwich Western Link is a prime example of that. And we do that in good faith, working with government, only to have the rug pulled by another government quango who decide that they just don't want us to do it. Now, government at least have recognised the impossible position we were put in, and they've underwritten the costs with the capitalisation directive. But really, we should be building that Norwich Western Link right now. And if the government departments could actually agree on something, then that's exactly what we would be doing, and we would be completing that ring road around Norwich. Utility companies, yeah, about 75% of roadworks. Utility companies, this traffic jam is brought to you courtesy of Anglian Water or Cadent or whoever it is, not Norfolk County Council. The Department for Transport Select Committee did make some recommendations about better coordination and putting the onus on utility companies to work with us. They were all rejected by the government. That's such a shame, because if we could have actually had a bit more control over what happens in our county, then perhaps we wouldn't get quite so many complaints about it. So we're all local members. I know we sit here as a cabinet, but we're all local members. We all look after our own patches when we go back home. I've got 2 crossings going forward in my area, one at Brook, which I knew was going to happen, which services the school, and a new one which I wasn't anticipating, but the money has come forward. I'm very grateful for that at Thurton, again, where we get a lot of school children crossing. It's absolutely fantastic because it's what local people want. And as members, we're able to fund some of the reports that go into checking whether what sort of crossings we should get and whether they're actually required in those locations. And I was pleased to be able to fund the report into the Thurton crossing, which has helped to get that over the line. And all members can do that. All individual members can do that. Use that budget that we are given £11,000 a year to actually fund some investigation into where we can make those highways improvements. So these are the aspirations of a Conservative council in this document, and we hope that we will be able to make sure that all of these things happen. It's going to be down to the general public whether they allow us to take these forward after the elections. We will wait and see. But these are the sort of things that a Conservative administration will do for you and offer you, and I wholeheartedly agree with the recommendations, and I'd like to ask Cabinet if they would agree with them. They're on page 748. There are 3. I'm not going to read them out. Can I ask for all those in favour to please show? Thank you. So we'll move on again. It's Graham Plant again in the hot seat. Item 17, the Highways Parish Partnership Scheme 2026-27 starts on page 788. Over to you, Graham. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. So my final paper for today, and a really important one for our local communities, is this year's Parish Partnership Programme report. We are committed to supporting our local communities and delivering highways projects that make a real difference to people right across the county. Sometimes it's the small projects that make the biggest difference, and this year we have approved 99 new highway improvement schemes right across the county. These are projects that make a genuine difference to everyday journeys across the county. This programme has been running for 15 years now and continues to be one of our most successful ways of working directly with town and parish councils to deliver the changes that matter the most to residents. Whether that's improving pedestrian safety, slowing vehicle speeds, or making it easier for people to walk, cycle and access essential services. Since its launch in 2011, the Parish Partnership Scheme has delivered a total of 1,472 local highways improvements. This year's programme represents a total investment of just over £769,000, made possible through our long-standing 50-50 funding model. Our town and parish councils are contributing around £384,500, which we are matching. Pooling our funds means we can deliver far more small-scale schemes than we could on our own, and this programme is a perfect example of how we are working better together for Norfolk. And the recommendations that are on page 793 are to 1, to approve the 68 local schemes listed in Appendix B for inclusion in the Parish Partnership Programme for 26-27, and 2, to approve the 31 vehicle activated sign schemes listed in Appendix C for inclusion in the Parish Partnership Programme for 26-27. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this report? Councillor Bensley.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Just wanted to thank the Cabinet member for this and all the team, because I see Winterton is in there for about £19,000 worth of improvements, and that is a wonderful little parish with a wonderful beach, and I can't advertise it too much because that's in my part. So, yeah, that is a wonderful little village, and I thank all the team for allowing that to happen. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Wymart.
Thank you, Leader. Yeah, once again, I think this is a great scheme. It's been running for many years, and I've been very pleased over the years to support many parishes with improvements. You know, through the Member Highways grant, as you say, we get £11,000, and it's about how we distribute that, and we can help support these, particularly smaller parishes who have very small precepts. So I think it's really important to do so. So I'm really pleased to see Halstead and Salhouse on there, and I'm sure, well, I know over previous years, most of my parishes have been supported one way or another. So long may it continue. Thank you. Thank you.
Any other comments or questions? Councillor Plant, your microphone's still on, just saying. Okay. No one else is indicating. I mean, this is an excellent scheme. It's a way that parishes can spend some of that Section 106 and SIL money that they often receive and then are not quite sure how best to utilise it. We can help them with that, and we can boost that pot as well so that they can get bigger and better schemes. And I would encourage all parishes to have a look at this as a way forward for getting those little improvements that they want, that their local residents want to see. Vehicle activated signs are a great idea. I mean, speeding is the bane of my life. I'm always banging on about it in my division. I'm sure you are in yours. I don't understand why people can't do 20 miles an hour in a village or a town setting. There's no need to go any faster. You don't get the other end any quicker. All you do is risk the lives of the pedestrians who are trying to traverse the same route at the same time. And I know that some people would like us to see more police cameras that actually fine people who break the speed limit, but they are hugely expensive, looking £70,000-80,000 upwards for each one, and then to actually service them is about £3,000 a year, so I understand it. So it's hardly surprising that we don't see more of those. But we could do with a bit more enforcement. I have spoken to the Police and Crime Commissioner about it. If we could have some more enforcement in some of those areas where we have a particular problem, I think it would help, because although some MPs, very naively in my opinion, think that we should just reduce limits everywhere, that doesn't actually solve the problem. And if the police are not going to enforce the limit, then reducing the speed limit is not going to solve the problem. So this is a good report. It shows how parishes can help themselves and how the Norfolk County Council will support them moving forward. I'd like to move you to the recommendations now, which are on page 789. There are 68 local schemes in Appendix B for the Parish Partnership Programme for 26-27 and 31 new vehicle activated signs in Appendix C for inclusion for 26-27. All those in favour, please show. Thank you. So we'll move on to item 18, the Environmental Policy and Environment Strategy for Norfolk County Council. Starts on page 801, and Councillor James Bensley will introduce the report, please.
Yes, thank you, Leader. Forgive me if I cough or croak during this little introduction. Don't worry, it's not man flu, it's just a little cold, so I should successfully manage this. Good morning, everybody, and thank you. Welcome for this. Norfolk is an extraordinary county. We are fortunate to be custodians of the remarkable landscapes, historic places, and the communities that care deeply about both. The good fortune carries responsibility, and today's environmental policy and environmental strategy sets out how we will meet it. This policy establishes a clear and modern framework of how Norfolk County Council will protect, manage and enhance our natural and historic environment, not only for today but for generations to come. It reflects our ambition to lead by example, to manage our own estate with nature in mind, to safeguard the assets that define Norfolk's character, and to ensure responsible access so residents and visitors can continue our county all year round and enjoy it the best that has to offer. The strategics 5 pillars give us focus and direction. They recognise the meaningful progress depending on partnership and collaboration across communities, organisations and sectors. Importantly, the work supersedes the 2019 policy and ensures that environment considerations are fully embedded into decision-making across the Council. This is about stewardship, it's about balance, and it's about long-term thinking, protecting what matters special to Norfolk while supporting and thriving accessibility and a resilient county. I commend the work that has been done in joint working with Suffolk as well to deliver this. So I'll leave it there. Thank you, Leader, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this report? Councillor Plant.
Yeah, thank you. I've just spoken previously about a lot of infrastructure and schemes that we need in Norfolk to enable economies to grow and everything else. And I think you'll find that this is integrated within them reports as well, so that the environment is taken into consideration when we do highways works, when we build new roads and everything else. I think it's really important that we do that, because we do want to maintain and enhance what Norfolk has got. But we also need to build an environment where we can develop our people, develop our infrastructure and our environment. So, yeah, welcome the report.
Councillor Bensley.
Yes, thank you, Chair. If I can come back on that. I think us as an administration has learned that we can't put in policies that are barriers to when Norfolk is growing. I mean, she's such an amazing county, and with us here, we can't have things that pause up developments. If there's opportunities out there for us to get funding from central government, then us as Conservatives will go out and collect it. But we're doing it in a balanced approach, and I thank you for your question, Councillor Plant. And this hopefully will give us direction and really enthuse and stimulate growth and investment for Norfolk, whilst keeping the environment as she is. Beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No, I mean, we all acknowledge that we live in a beautiful county, and we're very, very fortunate to be able to do so. And we need to protect our countryside, our coastline, and our wildlife. I understand that our planting of trees is around about 700,000 now, Councillor Bensley, which is a fantastic effort. I know we're still working towards that ultimate million goal. Did you want to update us on that?
Oh, thank you, Chair. Yeah, thanks for bringing that in. As of yesterday, it was 729,501, with the aim from my team is to get up to 750,000 by the end of March. So I thank you and all Cabinet and all councillors, members and officers of Norfolk County Council in delivering that so much, because I believe that is a monumental achievement. Thank you, Leader.
Thank you. I agree. I mean, 750,000 trees in this administration is fantastic. So I take my hat off to the officers, and I would like to know where the one is. Who gets that in their division? But all of this, we achieve all of this without declaring any emergencies. And we see some councils declare an emergency, a bit of virtual signalling goes on, and then they don't do anything about it. This council, actions speak louder than words, and we will continue to protect our environment as long as it is our responsibility to do so. So thank you very much, Councillor Bensley. The recommendations are on page 801 to 802. We're asked to review and comment on the strategy and the policy documents, and recommend that this be approved and adopted, and that full council will approve and adopt this after us. Can I ask for all those in favour to please show? Thank you very much. So item 19 then is the Norfolk Coast National Landscape Management Plan 2025 to 2030. Starts on page 857, and back to Councillor Bensley to introduce this, please.
Yes, thank you, Leader. This is the Norfolk Coast National Landscape, formerly Norfolk Coast Area of Outstanding Beauty. It is under National Parks and the Countryside Act of 1949, and it is managed by Coastal Partnership on behalf of local authorities. This isn't nothing to do with sea defences and hard structures like that. This is maintaining and managing our beautiful countryside. And habitats and environment. I'm not going to say too much else to it because I believe the Deputy Leader wants to come in on this and he has a massive passion for this. So I'll leave it to him, and there is a nice photo of him on page 862 if you'd like to see it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll hand over to Councillor Jemison, who is not wearing his wellies today, I hasten to add.
Yeah, no, I rather prefer older photographs of me than that one. It's rather too recent. But I'm really pleased with this Norfolk Coast Partnership Management Plan. I am, of course, chair of Norfolk Coast Partnership, and the Norfolk Coast is one of the most special and cherished landscapes in the country. And as we look ahead, the Norfolk Coast Partnership is committed to ensuring that this extraordinary area is not just protected, but is actively shaped by those who live, work and visit here. It's a place where nature thrives, but communities flourish and businesses play an active role in sustaining this unique environment. There's no point in just covering it with aspic. It is a living, thriving place and a community which needs to be helped. So our approach is always one of collaboration and empowerment, people and businesses doing things, not having things done to them. So this management plan sets out an ambitious yet practical vision for the future. It is rooted in shared responsibility and collective action. Recent reorganisation of governance has enabled us to build upon the strong momentum of recent achievements whilst recognising the urgent need to address new challenges, from climate change, biodiversity loss, and to sustainable tourism and economic resilience. Crucially, it is a plan that belongs to the people of the Norfolk Coast, and whether you're a farmer, a fisher, a business owner, a conservationist, a resident or a visitor, your role is vital in delivering its goals. At the heart of our vision is nature recovery. The Norfolk Coast's internationally significant habitats, salt marshes, dunes, wetlands and chalk rivers must be safeguarded and enhanced. We are committed to increasing the area of wildlife-rich habitats, to improving ecological condition of protected sites and supporting nature-friendly farming. These efforts will not only preserve the beauty and biodiversity of our coast, but also create economic opportunities for those who look after the land. And we must also recognise the importance of sustainable development. The way we plan, build and travel must respect the character of the landscape whilst meeting the needs of a changing society. It is through collaboration with local authorities and businesses that we will encourage planning and tourism practices that enhance rather than erode this coast's special qualities. This plan is built on the principle that lasting change happens when people come together. And over the next 5 years, we will empower local communities by providing opportunities to lead and shape conservation initiatives. We will strengthen partnerships between public bodies, businesses and community groups. We will promote sustainable tourism. We will support businesses in transitioning to practices that benefit the local economy and the natural landscape, and we will adapt to any climate change as necessary. So the Norfolk Coast is a place of shared heritage and collective responsibility. Success will not come from the actions of some single organisation or authority. It'll come from all of us working together. The best solutions are not imposed from above. They emerge from the energy, the expertise and creativity of those who care about the place. This plan invites everyone, residents, businesses, farmers, conservationists, visitors and policymakers to be part of this journey. Whether through small, everyday actions or large-scale initiatives, every effort contributes to the long-term health and vitality of our coast. The Norfolk Coast Partnership is proud to champion this vision, but the real work will be done by the people who call this landscape home. Let's make the next 5 years a period of ambition, action and achievement. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Councillor Bensley.
Yes, thank you, Leader. As I said, I couldn't have put it better myself, how the Deputy Leader has said about how important our coastal communities are. And can I just say how nicely it ties in with what Councillor Eagle said earlier about hospitality, apprenticeships, the circular economy, tourism, everything that we're trying to... Pardon? Oh yeah, sorry, well-being as well, mental health well-being. That all ties in so delicately together as social cohesion and tourism, and it is a joy to behold, and that's a really, really exciting document. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? No? Well, we know why people come to Norfolk. They come for our heritage, they come to see the Norfolk Broads, and they come for our fantastic coastline. We always hear about the Norfolk big skies, don't we? Many people paint them, many people photograph them. People love to walk along our beautiful sandy beaches and look at our wildlife. Tourism is a big economic driver for our county, and we need to protect that, but we also need to make sure that our environment is protected at the same time. And what I would really like to do is call on government to help us to actually defend our coastline, because we know that we have the fastest eroding coast in the whole of Europe. I don't think people necessarily recognise that or realise that. And the loss of our coastline is not just a loss to the people of Norfolk, it's a loss to the people of this country. We are such an important part of the natural environment and the heritage of our country, and government need to step up and make sure that our coastline is properly protected in the way that it should be, and not just watch it crumbling into the sea, and the potential for saltwater to be invading our natural wetlands and destroying the wildlife. That's what's at risk here, and we need government to step up and recognise that and do something about it. So, let's look at the recommendations then. They're on page 857. I'm asking Cabinet to approve the Norfolk Coast National Landscape Management Plan 2025-30. All those in favour, please. Thank you very much. So we'll move on now. We're now getting to the really interesting stuff, the Finance Monitoring Report 2025-26. P10 for January 2026 starts on page 922. I'm asking Councillor Andrew Jamieson to introduce this, please.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, it is. I mean, it is a very interesting report. I mean, here we are at period 10, and I'm really pleased to say, and I thank my team, finance team, for doing so, that we're setting a balanced budget. The early pressures that we saw coming to this council, particularly the pressures in children's services, the potential risks that were well highlighted and flagged in adult social care, have been managed extremely effectively, and as a result, we have this balanced position. There's little else to add other than a couple of recent developments. First of all, of course, Norfolk County Council just recently received confirmation that the government has formally approved the capitalisation direction in respect of the Norwich Western Link. Now, this was, as we all know here in Cabinet, a largely technical issue. There have been attempts, of course, to fan the flames of controversy and to make it something that it wasn't. But the important point is that the Department of Transport have accepted the business case or accepted the need for a business case and are providing funding for this part of the project, and that I think is really important. It's important to remember that the Norwich Western Link is part of their large local majors programme of infrastructure project. It is, as such, it is a Department for Transport project for which we are effectively the delivery partner, and we will continue to have the shared goal with the Department for Transport of delivering this economic development, which is so vital for the communities, particularly in the north of Norwich. They are so important to help address the inequalities that are felt consistently by rural communities, and these inequalities need to be addressed, and those communities need to be respected. So the infrastructure already is taking place along the north of the city, and it should be served by a suitable road network. The only other point I would make is on the 24-25 accounts. The auditors have received some new information. I would say it's not a particularly significant point, but as published on our website, the auditors were unable to conclude their audit by the statutory backstop date, and they were working to conclude this as soon as possible. Thanks very much, Chair.
Thank you. Any comments or questions? No, nobody is indicating. Well, I think congratulations all round for delivering a balanced budget once again, even in the face of increasing demands and cost pressures placed on this council. I've already mentioned that we do such a lot with so very little, and if we had the sort of funding that we see in other areas, we could do so much more. And I believe that one of our borough councils has had a massive increase all of a sudden out of the blue from government. And didn't you say that if we'd had that sort of funding boost, 14%, it would be something like £300 million?
Yes, that's absolutely correct, Chair. I think that was West Norfolk received a 14% increase, which they announced with their budget paper. As you say, if we'd done that without going through Cabinet or indeed any other form of scrutiny, simply announced to the public that we had another 300 million and we were going to dispose of it as you and I saw fit, I have a feeling that the opposition in this chamber would have been rather more vocal.
Yes, and just think what we could have done with an extra 300 million, guys. You know, wouldn't that be great if we could hand you that? We could do so many great things for Norfolk. We can only wish. So we have a balanced budget. I think even the opposition here at Norfolk County Council will acknowledge our careful stewardship of the services in Norfolk and of the costs that fall on our taxpayers. We are a safe pair of hands. We are the sensible, common sense administration that will steer this ship through these troubled waters. And the risk, of course, is that for the sake of protests aimed at central government, this could be jeopardised at the ballot box in May. So I just make a plea to residents in Norfolk that local government really does matter. It's the services that you rely on day in, day out in your local communities. Think carefully about who you trust to deliver that moving forward in the future. So we'll look at the recommendations now. They are on page 922 to 923. There are 7 of them. I'm not going to read them all out because they're quite wordy. Can I ask Cabinet if they're in favour of these, please?
Agree.
Thank you very much. So we'll move on then to item 21, which is Norfolk County Council Owned Company Business Plans 26 to 27, page 963 onwards. And I'll ask Councillor Jamieson to introduce this, please.
Thank you very much indeed, Chair. So this is part of the usual process of oversight by Cabinet, and I do not intend to comment here on individual plans. They have been scrutinised at length by the company's governance panel, and the leader and I certainly know about that because we were there for an inordinate length of time. But their comments are included in the report. This report now allows the companies to operate in the forthcoming year. They have approved their plans in their respective boards. I should only mention really that all companies are aware of the timetable and the mounting issues in relation to LGR, and they will all respond in their businesses accordingly. I have no other comment. Thanks.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions on this report? No, no one is indicated, so I will direct you to the recommendations on page 963. There are 4 of them. Can I ask for all those in favour to please show? Thank you very much. So we'll move on then to item 22, which is reports of the Cabinet member and officer delegated decisions made since the last Cabinet meeting. They are listed on the papers. Has anyone got any comments or questions on these? No, I can't see anyone indicating on that. So we will take those as read. We'll move on to item 23 then, which is the disposal, acquisition and exploitation of property, which starts on page 1043. I know it's a big agenda, 1043 pages. I had to carry it in here, I should know. So before we begin discussing this item, It's been marked as including an appendix which is exempt by virtue of paragraph 3 of part 1 of Schedule 12A of the Local Government Act because it contains information relating to the financial or business affairs of any particular person, including the authority holding that information. So, colleagues, I have to ask you, do we agree that the appendix to disposal, acquisition and exploitation of property should be exempt? That's agreed, yes. So having considered the exempt information, can you confirm if you're confident that Cabinet can reach a decision without discussing the contents of the appendix? That's a yes. So Cabinet can discuss the report without moving into closed session, ensuring no reference is made to any exempt information and resolving to note the exempt appendix. So we'll move on to discussion of the report, and I will ask Councillor Jane James to introduce it, please.
Thank you, Leader. So we heard earlier in this meeting regarding the school sufficiency plan and how it pivots to address the changing needs of our education environment here in Norfolk. This piece today actually, reinforces that and supports that, and asks us to today, if Cabinet approves the acquisition of the Sacred Heart Catholic Primary School site on Spall Road, Swaffham, because we're responding to a local need that you will have seen outlined in that sufficiency report. So please, may we buy it, Cabinet? Thank you.
Thank you. Any comments or questions on this item? No. The Sacred Heart Catholic Primary School is a site right in the heart of Swaffham. I know it well. I had children who attended at one time when I lived in that area, when I was the councillor for Swaffham, funnily enough. Yes, so the report sets out the reasons for asking for the acquisition of this site. So can I ask Cabinet if they will approve the recommendations on page 1044 to acquire the school site on the terms set out? Agreed. That's agreed. So we don't need to exclude the public, because we've already discussed that and made that decision. So that's the end of the meeting, folks. Thank you all for sticking with us. And the next meeting is on Tuesday, the 7th of April. It's at 10 a.m. and it's here in the council chamber. Thank you very much indeed.